Hey,
Hey,
how are you?
I'm good, and you?
I'm excellent. Thanks for
Yeah.
asking.
How's the weather over there?
It's nice. It's getting warmer. We had like a cold front, and now it's we're gonna this weekend it's supposed to be 70 degrees. So maybe
So
yeah.
I don't do 7 degrees. We have, I think, Fahrenheit.
Oh yeah, the difference.
Yeah, it's like
Oh, I
18 degrees. That's how we here in Canada
okay.
get it.
Yeah, I don't know the Celsius side of it. I always get confused. One time I saw the Celsius side for like in the United States, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so cold outside, but it was the wrong one that I was looking at. Yeah, yeah.
So I just want to say thank you first of all to for agreeing to do a little video and sharing with me your experience with the law of being, because this is something that I've noticed that there aren't very many out there. People talking about their experiences and sharing what the heck is the law of being, and most importantly, what did they get out of it? So I've had a lot of people asking, and this would be great for them to watch, right? And anyone else that's following my YouTube channel, say hi.
Perfect.
So tell me about, well, first of all, how did you even get it? Like, how did you come across it?
I happened to find it. It just kind of went in my lap. I was blessed with it. I That's all I can really say. It's something that my being was desiring, and the universe just plopped it into my lap.
Mm-hmm. And I always say, like, everything happens for a reason, right? And
Right. Yes.
we
Yes.
cross paths. I'm trying to remember, did you come across it before or after me? I guess.
I believe it was after we had just started our sessions kind of or we were getting to the point of starting sessions, and then I happened to come across it, and then yeah, then
Mhm.
I just I believe we did a like a group thing with it in a way, or we did it together, right?
Yeah. No, yeah, I remember
Yeah.
we went through it because
Yes, yeah. Every
being
week we
myself.
did. Hmm.
And when you came across it, I thought, like, oh my God, this is incredible. You don't know what you have just scored yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
Through week by week. Um, this was even prior to me graduating or even signing up with iPEC, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about your experience with it in the first weeks.
Well, my first weeks, it was overwhelming. I really didn't know what to expect. I just saw the work, and I was just like, oh my gosh, this is going to be crazy. Where am I going to have time for this? Like, I have a child, I have a business, I have a household. But once getting into it, it was like, oh, that wasn't that bad. That was easy. You do the one CD a week, and you focus on it, and it just, yeah, it was a lot easier than I imagined.
Mm-hmm. Now, I'm curious if you had to pick one city that was your favorite, which one would it be?
My favorite one, I would have to say, would be the I Am Health. That was really the favorite one for me.
Yeah, yeah. I honestly can't even pick one.
No, I know it's hard, like health or the abundance. It's hard for me, but also doing the ones where with the whole energy blocks and all that. That one was powerful too.
Mhm. Yeah. No,
I
I
have
know.
little feet in the background.
I know how it is having kids at home. I'm just glad my
Right, right, right.
but you're homeschooling yours, so your hands are always full.
Oh yeah, but it's rewarding.
Yeah, and now that
Volunteering gave me the confidence to be
mhm,
able to trust myself and do that, I feel like too.
yeah, yeah, because I remember you were mentioning in the beginning that you want to homeschool, but you had quite a bit of fear and worry around homeschooling. So I'm curious, how has your parenting style improved since taking the law of being?
Oh, tremendously. I do homeschool with my son. We do it about a couple times a week. I also put in a personal development class that I do with him. We do journal reflection, and we just kind of work through everything. We work through the academic side, and we work through the mental, spiritual side of things.
Mm-hmm.
And it's empowering to be able to do it myself. And I feel like if I wouldn't have taken the lobbying, I wouldn't have had the confidence in order to do it, actually.
Yeah. And I'm going to take a wild guess and say that there's people that are going to be very curious to find out, how old is your son that you are homeschooling him and incorporating personal development in your child's education?
Right. Yeah. He's going to be 4 next week on the 11th. So yeah, 4 years old. And I feel like if I would have done personal development at that age, I would have been a total different person. But also, I needed those experiences to be able to be the person I am today.
Yeah.
So,
and
it just would have helped those, been able to help me release and let go and understand more.
Mm-hmm. And one thing I will also point out for anyone that's watching, that you might not know Bethany, or how, Bethany, you used to talk, and the positivity and your sheer awareness of any situation that you are in right now is extraordinary, because you came from a place where everything is happening to me, I can't fix it, I can't deal with it, full of stress, full of anxiety, borderline depressive. And
oh yeah, well, I think there was depression, and I didn't want to admit it, but there was, because I just was in a slump. I didn't know what to do. I was in that victim mindset, and getting out of that was one of the most powerful things, and law of being will do that. Will get you out of that victim mindset.
So can you recall any exercise that you did, whether it was a question or an exercise, that really stands out to you right now in this moment?
I think the one that really stood out to me was doing the values, finding out your values. That's what really impacted me, because then I was able to be like, okay, well, if this value isn't serving me anymore, let's change it. Let's add a new one. Let's try something else. And that also goes along with curiosities, always try new things. Don't hold yourself back. But yeah, the value, and I still do the value work through to this day.
Yeah. And if you had to describe the law of being in 2 minutes to a complete stranger that has never even never taken time to work on themselves, but they're curious about, how would you do that?
Ooh, I would just have to start out with telling them my story. Just, I started out with being worried, being the victim. Everyone was against me. Just the anxiety, the depression. I felt like I was drowning. But then coming into this law of being, I was able to find that those times of tension and stress are just flags. They're those opportunities to overcome them. And law of being helps you find those and helps uplift you. It gives you more positive practices to put into your life to help you with your purpose and to feel clarity and just balance ultimately.
That's well said. And I love how you mentioned purpose, because that's something that you had definitely discovered a couple of times throughout the time together, because it was one uncovery and then another one and another one. So tell me a little bit about that journey.
Well, it first started out with yoga. And to this day, I have not shut it out, but I thought my purpose was to be a yoga instructor, to teach yoga. And I feel like it definitely could be still that. I just haven't looked into that avenue yet. But I have been practicing yoga for a year and 95 days now. So a year and 3 months. And so that's one of them. And what I did learn is yoga is more of my medicine. It's that preventative. And also with meditation, I tried the meditation, same thing. It's more of my preventive, my medicine, that tool. And then poetry came about, and poetry writing, that is my thing. That is my purpose. It started from when I was younger. I wrote a poetry book, and then I got published in a poetry book as well when I was in high school. And I moved 2,500 miles away from where I was born and grew up. And I managed to bring those poetry books with me. Out of everything, those came. And so it was just that, hey, this is for you. And now I've written about 241 poems / inspirational quotes, but I just call them my poetry because I like to write in free verse poetry. But I've written 241 or 42 of them. I post one every day. And I just love spreading love and that encouragement. It's just, and I found that my purpose is to spread love, encouragement, inspiration, and let people know that they could be the best version of themselves.
Mm-hmm. Which is one
and of course with all my other things that I do, that's part of my purpose. I'm also like a partial business owner, do bookkeeping and accounting and stuff. I'm homemaker, mother, but yeah, it helped me find all the things and feel good about them, and not just be like, oh, well, I'm a homemaker, I stay at home. I have that negative connotation on it. Like I was like, oh, I'm a homemaker. Like I get to stay home. I get to make sure the house is running properly. Everything's clean. It's just, it's so much more empowering. And it came from the law of being. I think so to this day. I feel it. And I still have my law of being stuff. And I look forward to when you launch your group sessions with law of being, because I'm going to take it again and see what else I uncover.
Yeah.
Something you can use for the rest of your life.
Yeah, because I remember when I mentioned that and you were like, I would definitely be down to be part of that group coaching, because I know there's going to be so much more new things that I will learn. Even though I've gone through it, I would love to go through it again.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to hear, I guess, your opinion and experience. So when you came across the law of being, if you did not have me in your life and you went through the law of being all on your own, as opposed to the way that you did with me, guided through the whole program together, what would, tell me the differences between you going through it on your own and going through the program with me as your accountability partner and a coach?
Having you, like you said, accountability. I feel like, yes, I would have gotten it done, but having you there every week, it was just that thing. Like when you go to school, you have your assignment due, you got to do your homework, and it held me accountable to do that. And then to actually take the things I learned and to actually put them into my life instead of just reading them or learning them and being like, okay, well, we'll see, when that time comes, we'll put it into practice. But having you there, it helped just be like, no, we're putting it in practice. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. It's going. We're doing it. And that's what I feel like you need when you go on a personal growth track. You need that person to be there, to be like, no, you can't. That's unacceptable.
Yeah.
To kind of call you on your shit.
Yeah. And having a coach that would do that is very important as well. Because some might be a little bit more like as a pushover and let you get away with it. But the reason why
I'd be like, oh, it's fine, but having that person be like, no, it's not okay. But, don't be hard on yourself. Like, just try, it's a learning opportunity. That's what really helped me, was the opportunity. I guess and I bring up that because the opportunity part was another big takeaway. To see everything as an opportunity, see all obstacles, all experiences, everything that you deal with as an opportunity to either grow, learn, and just be the better version of yourself.
Exactly. And when it comes to seeing things as opportunity, there's the way I like to describe it is that we can see and understand it and comprehend it, but the way that it really is best understood is when we understand it on a cellular level, that when our mind, body, and soul really understands that as an opportunity, and that is when change and shifts happen in our life. Because when we mentally understand it, it's one thing. It's like reading a book, understanding it, but then when you're done reading the book, you forget about it. But when you fully understand it on a cellular level, it will always be there.
And it's that light bulb that goes off that you're like, whoa, oh my gosh, I didn't realize that. Like, I have realizations every day. Something comes up and I'm like, oh my, I didn't realize that. But then I'm able to work on things and be a better version of myself.
Yeah.
Ultimately.
So the reason why I wanted to get your opinion on the going through any program, not just a Love Being, but any program on your own,
I agree.
And going through it with a help of a professional that is very familiar with the work. And for myself and for anyone that has gone through programs, a lot of people, when they get the program and they go through it themselves, they get started and never do anything with it, or they get started, get halfway or almost to the end and then not do anything with it, or not even get started, right? I know a lot of people, and I have done it myself as well, that have gone that route, but going through it with someone who has gone through it has certain steps that need to be followed to make sure that you're getting the best out of the whole entire program. And you're accountable and helping you work through all of those revelations that you're coming up with. Because in the beginning, there was a little bit that you had this new awakening experiences, whereas now it's every single day, and it's like a handful that you go through, and you journal, you do your things, and then you fill it back. So that's why I wanted to get your opinion on the two different options.
Nice, yeah.
And one thing I also wanted to mention is that I'm sure you would remember and recall this moment when in our coaching session, this was pretty much a year ago now. You were going through the Love Being. One of the things that you realized, you said, holy shit, I'm already living in my dream life that I wanted.
Oh, yes.
I'm like searching and searching and searching to only realize I already have everything I wanted.
Yeah.
So how did that moment feel for you?
You know, like those moments where like you have the couple and they're kissing in the movies and there's fireworks going off. That's how it felt like to me. It was like, whoa, like just out there, there's fireworks going off. I was like having happy tears. I felt like my heart grew in a size, like, whew, it's powerful, very powerful. Just talking about it right now, like it fires me up, as you can see.
No, I saw you even like when I started just getting to the point where you already understood where I was going with this. I saw your energy just like light up. If some people I know, they can see like energies around us because our energy spreads out 5 feet away from us, right? Some people that are able to see energies probably saw you just like explode right on. And I actually put this shirt on for a reason, because one of the things I hear very often is maybe later. Right. Putting things off.
Avoiding, procrastinating.
Especially when it comes to their mental health. And one example, so yesterday, when I go for a walk with my dog, I don't bring my phone with me. I don't bring anything with me. And that's because that's my time to completely disconnect. And sometimes I wish I did, because some thoughts come through and I'm like, oh, I wish I had my recorder so I can record it. last night I went for a walk, and we had a dentist appointment yesterday for the kids, right? And I keep thinking of cavities. And I'm like, this is going to be interesting. So when people go to the dentist and a cavity is not visible to the naked eye, they need to have an x-ray, and it's so small that it takes an expert to see that cavity on that screen, and they got to point it out to you and say, that's where it is, that's where it is. And you're still questioning, is it real? Is it really there? Or are you just trying to get money out of me? Now, when it comes to mental health and all the blocks that we create, they are just like those freaking cavities. They are so tiny and practically non-existent. But if left untreated, they grow bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger to a point where pain and suffering is inevitable. That we can come to a point where that toothache paralyzes us. We can't think clearly, we can't see things clearly, we can't eat, we can't sleep, and we're literally, the whole system breaks down. Mental health is the same thing. Slowly it starts to overload the system and break the system down. And it actually does start from a young age. So that's why when you shared with me and with everyone that's watching, that you are already putting your 4-year-old, almost 4-year-old, through personal development, I don't think that kid is going to have any kind of cavities in his life.
Right. And I hope he because like with his journal, he journals, and he saw me journal, and he wanted his own journal. So it also proves that when you do something, your kids will follow. They will follow you in how you do things as well. So leading by example, that's a big one. Lead by example. That's another parenting thing that I learned. If you yell, you're constantly, oh, you're doing this, they're going to be that way too.
Yeah, oh, definitely. And even when partners, parents are fighting and arguing around the kids or near the kids, I mean, and again, energy spreads, right? Whether you're upstairs and the kids are downstairs, they still feel that. It still affects them, and they're not sure of where it's coming from, and they take it as their own. And imagine years and years and years of that. That adds up within that child. And that is in a way a cavity as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Just different analogy, I guess. Yeah.
And when they're watching how both of them interact, what they're really learning is what kind of partner they want. And that's why I'm sure you've heard this phrase that women tend to marry their fathers.
I have heard that. Yes. Yeah.
Men tend to marry their mothers, which means that however you grew up, you're going to come across and find that woman that is the closest to your mother. And it doesn't necessarily mean the good mother. Again, I don't like the labels, but this is how everyone understands.
Yeah, no, I yeah.
So the good mother, and then the bad mother. So your mother might have been bad, but you never saw it as that because you didn't know any better. So you went and you married a mother, and now you're married to one and you're living with one, and it can break down the system. Vice versa for the man, right? The father might not always be a good father. Obviously he's doing his best and trying his best, but he doesn't know any better because on his childhood and then so on and on and on. So I've said this to myself and to my husband, that the kids are watching, always observing, and the way you show up as a parent, the way I show up as a parent will determine on who they will be spending their life with.
Yeah, I agree.
That's a program that gets created subconsciously without any knowledge of the child or the child even having a choice. That's why those many women that had an abusive father quite often get married to an abusive man. Now, abuse comes in different shapes and forms, right? The same thing with boys, when they have an abusive mother, however, whatever shape and form comes, that's what they tend to go and marry. And then they live with that, right? Um, so in saying all of that, bringing it back to the law of being, because the law of being is different from the law of attraction. Like, the law of being is all about you figuring out who you are and then decide if this is who you want to be or shift. It really just creates awareness. First awareness and then acceptance and then conscious choice.
Yes.
So that's what you have perfected now, because now we just have coaching sessions once a month.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You're able to go through and coach yourself and coach your son now. And because that's, I mean, as a coach, that's exactly what I want from my clients. I don't want anyone to be dependent on me. I want everyone to become independent and live in their bubble of being, which is not really a bubble, but in their form and understanding of what they want to be like. And in saying that and who you have became and who you were, right, which is one thing. How do you think that affects your future and your child's and your partner's future?
Well, really it's just we've been manifesting what we want. We're not thinking of, okay, well, this is gonna be a worst case scenario. We're trying, okay, well, let's make it be the best case. Let's manifest the best case scenario of what's going to happen. And that's like setting goals and having your dream list. I feel like that's important. I got that from the law of being and from your coaching as well. It's just to live in a more empowered and uplifted way, that closest to your purpose. I think that's
Yeah. I love that, because a lot of people, they might not realize that every day they are manifesting things into their life. And the life that they're living is actually self-fulfilling prophecy, I guess. If I remember correctly, that's what Bruce D. Schneider said in one of the cities, that we're all living in our own realities that we created ourselves without really realizing it and knowing. So as we are running out of time for today, I wanted to say thank you so much for sharing your journey and your experience and everything that law of being has helped you to uncover.
Yeah, you're welcome. And thank you for everything you helped me with, held me accountable for, and you let me blossom by myself and not, you hold the hand, but not too much. It's like a perfect combination. And so thank you.
Oh, you're most welcome. You're living proof that unicorns exist.
Yes. And I got that tattooed. I have a unicorn tattooed on me now. It just is my daily reminder. And one last thought that I thought would be really good to share is to remember that your thoughts and your words are like magic spells. And that goes with the manifestation.
Yeah, exactly. Right. That we create everything that we think and talk about.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All righty. Well, thank you for having me.
You're welcome. And I hope that everyone that has watched this video has gotten the answers that they were looking for. And if not, feel free to reach out to me and I will answer the rest of your questions that you might have. And until next time, bye, everybody.
Bye.